My heart was racing. My knees even trembled a bit. I remember those feelings nearly a decade later. The nervous anticipation I felt as I walked across the hotel lobby and stood waiting for the elevator. I was wearing a little black dress, heels, and new lingerie. Everything about the outfit was out of character for me. I was 19 years old and fit from years spent playing soccer and basketball. Nobody would ever confuse me for a model, but I'm not unattractive. I was a part-time student working my way through college. I had a job working at an upscale hotel. The goal was to work my way up to an assistant manager position to get some of that coveted leadership experience on my resume. The hotel was on a golf course and catered primarily to executive business travelers. It wasn't the kind of place that your company puts you up when you're on the road. It's where the CEO of your company stays. We didn't have a uniform, but were required to dress professionally. That was typically a blouse and skirt for me. The clientele often liked to get flirty with the help. It was our job to go the extra mile. We flirted back. We smiled. We laughed at every unoriginal bad joke. Not just the women. The guys would kiss ass too. That kind of thing could lead to unwanted advances. Men often wanted to buy me a drink. The more confident ones would suggest more, like having a drink in their room. But I always declined. At least until the day I didn't. He was a regular client. He had a European accent. I don't know what he did, but he was at the hotel every other month. He always booked a suite. The starting price back then was $1,200 a night. That night he got in around 10 p.m. He was obviously stressed and complained about his day of travel. I was alone at the front desk. He mentioned he would use some company to help him relax. I politely declined. Then he offered me $500. The money was tempting. I was on a partial scholarship for sports and athletics, but it wasn't enough. I was struggling to pay my bills and tuition, but $500 wasn't going to make me sleep with a stranger. I told him there were clubs nearby where that offer would work. "I'm not looking for professionals," he said. "I don't like dirty women." I declined again. He opened his wallet and started counting out bills. He had over $600 and a handful of euros. He offered it all. I turned him down a third time. He persisted. "I can't sell my virginity for $600, I finally blurted out. I was sure he'd stop after that and be a little more respectful, but the opposite happened. He offered me $2,500, then $3,000, then $5,000 for a full night. I was overwhelmed. I told him I needed to think about it, but I also just wanted him to go away. I was on the desk again the next night. When he came by, I accepted his offer. He must have expected it. He slipped me an envelope with the original $600 in bills and told me to dress well and buy new lingerie. I kept most of the money. I bought a dress on sale at Nordstrom Rack and lingerie at a boutique store. He got a room downtown in a different hotel. I'd told him it was against the rules to socialize with guests at work. Every nerve tingled as I walked in. I'd never felt like I might be sick. He sat by the window after he let me in. "Undress," he commanded. There were no niceties or icebreakers. I knelt to take off my heels. "Not like that," he said. "Stand. Take your time." I'd been a tomboy most of my life. I felt awkward. I didn't want to blow it. I took off the dress. He admired the lingerie and told me to spin around for him. I did what he said. "There is nothing like deflowering a woman," he told me. "It's special. To be a woman's first, the one she will never forget." He kept talking for what seemed like an eternity. I don't know if he wanted to savor the moment, or he was just full of himself and thought he was impressing me. I just wanted to get it over with. The actual act wasn't very sensual. He was slow and methodical. He knew what he was doing, though. He wasn't bad or selfish or hurried. He kept telling me how I would remember that night for the rest of my life. Obviously, he wasn't wrong, at least not so far. He slept soundly after. I tossed and turned most of the night. In the morning, he ordered room service, but I didn't have an appetite. Dining with him wasn't part of the agreement. The money didn't last long, of course. At that age, it seemed like a lot, but I had so many expenses with school. In retrospect, $5,600 doesn't seem like enough money to sell your virginity to a man who obviously got off on corrupting people with his wealth. But I wasn't really a virgin anyway. I'd only said it because I thought he'd leave me alone. Who knew it would only lead to him upping the offer?